Joining us now, Professor of Politics at USF, James Taylor, and our political analyst, Brian Sobel. Brian, let me begin with you. We were talking in the newsroom earlier. You were saying that you thought the president hit a home run, and you thought he did it with 3 messages and an overall theme.
Right. I looked at the construction of the speech, and I think he was, talking about his own legacy, transitioning into why it ought to continue under Hillary Clinton. He made the case against Donald Trump very effectively, and the the overarching component of the speech was that we have been Trump talks about darkness, we're talking about light.
They really took on Donald Trump tonight.
Oh, yes.
The president did. And I thought it was interesting how he did it kind of with humor, but
Yes.
very serious humor.
Well, he's a great orator and a great speech writer himself, and I think that he did a very deft job of taking Donald Trump apart. In fact, all night long, there were 4 people that came up there, to take Donald Trump apart. The question is whether the American people kind of tuned out after Speaker 1 or Speaker 2.
Let's talk about Tim Kaine for a little bit. Hillary Clinton struggles with white male voters,
right,
and he was chosen to appeal to the blue-collar white man.
Yeah.
Did he do his job tonight? Was he effective to reaching out to those voters who she struggles with?
Well, yes, in the sense that he's the everyman. He's the guy that you would, have a burger and a beer with, and he's very informal in the way that he speaks. And these other people are very polished public speakers, have been on the national stage for a long time, and we're talking about Biden and President Obama. So I think he made a connection, and we'll see how that plays out over time.
I do think a lot of people nationally are putting too much emphasis on this element that is appealing, that Donald Trump appeals to. If you look at the 2008 and 2012 voting turnouts, white voting performance and turnout actually declined by 7 million between 2008 and 2012. So it went down 7 million. So it's going in the wrong direction. So for everyone to sort of signal all of this potential in this element that supports Donald Trump, they don't typically show up at the polls at the end of each 4-year convention cycle. We end up, looking out and saying they didn't show up. So there's a disappearing white voter. And we're talking about Donald Trump can win with the white vote alone. And
I would add that these conventions are big hoorahs and that everybody has a good time at them. And you see the bump, which we've talked about, and we'll get a bump after this one.
Yeah.
And then it recedes, and we go into kind of darkness for a while on the campaign trail, and then it picks back up.
Yeah.
So that's what we're looking to is what survives from these conventions as themes.
And the other thing is that Obama has 56% approval rating right now. People like him, and this is one of the highest approval ratings of an incumbent lamed up president in American history. So people feel miserable, the misery index they talk about, and in terms of this whole idea of people just not feeling good about things. But then there's a disconnect because people are saying they're happy with Obama right now, at least not happy, but at least approve of his job. So that's a real issue.
It's going to be a historic night tomorrow.
It is.
It seems like it's been building toward that, and a good night tonight for the Democrats, I think we'd all agree.